Right. So, as per your syllabus, whatever we have in Unit 1, maximum we have completed. So, we left with this operators topic. So, before going to this operators topic, today I want to revise all the topics whatever we have discussed in the Unit 1. Okay. So, whatever the PDF I have sent you in the group, this is here materials, here PDF. So, I am explaining you the concepts from this. So, today in the starting from starting we will see the topics. So, in the starting, this is the first question. Explain about different types of languages. Here we have three types of languages: high level and low level and middle level. So, C comes under middle level programming language, or general English is high level. So, what system can understand mission languages comes under low level. So, this is about languages what we have discussed, and this is a simple brief introduction. C language was developed in the year 1972 at Bell Laboratories by Dennis Ritchie. So, Dennis Ritchie is the person who invented or who developed this C programming language. So, before C language we have some languages like Algol, COBOL, Photon. So, this is a history of some programming languages whatever we have. And then we have seen some features of C language. It is generalized language, middle level language. It is extensive. It is having extensive library functions, and it is having efficiency and speed, for portability and structured programming. These are all the features of basic C programming language. And already we have discussed about structure of C programming. First we have documentation section, and second we have header section. It is also called as preprocessor section. And here we have global declaration. Here we have main program. It is categorized into two types: declaration part and executable part. And some situations we may have some user defined functions. So, this is the structure of C programming language. So, based on that I have written an example program here. So, we will see with an example programs and all the things. Rishikant generals kada? Leave it. And so, what is documentation section, what is header section, global declaration, what is program section, user defined function, all these are the different parts of a program. So, what are the rules for writing a C program? So, the statement C program must be written only in lowercase letters. The symbolic constants can be written in uppercase. So, after the declaration part, the statements can be written anywhere in the program, but only in respective braces. So, we can't write even any statement after the braces or outside the braces. And more than one statement can be written in one line by separating them with a semicolon. The words can be separated with blank spaces. Words can be separated. Declaration of variables, keywords, constants and functions need not be separated with blank spaces. And balancing of the opening and closing braces is must. So, if you have opened any brace, that must be closed. So, you have to check this part, whatever the braces which we have opened, they must be closed. Okay. So, this flowcharts and algorithms I will explain you at the end of the chapter. Once we are done with the basic programming, then only we will come to know what is algorithm and what is flowchart. Even this command line functions also. These two topics I will explain you at the end of the class. Okay. Next. So, what are the steps for executing? So, as I said in the starting class, first of all we have to create a program, we have to write the program, then you have to compile the program, link and execute. So, once we write the program, whatever we are doing, we are compiling and run, we are pressing F11, right? So, by that F11 what it will do is, it will convert your program code into system understandable code, and then finally your program will get executed. If you have any syntax errors, again it will go back and you have to rewrite the code. So, here you have a flowchart here, start editing source code. So, once whatever the source code you have written, that should be compiled. So, at the time of compilation, if you have any errors, yes, if you have any errors, again you have to edit the code and then again you have to compile. If you don't have any errors, then your program will go to convert it into object code, and then with the help of that object code you will going to execute the program. So at the time of execution, if you have any errors like data input, for example you said in the program enter any integer values but you have entered float values, so that is programmatical error, data error. So if you have any errors, then again either you have to go back to the program or you have to go back to for input. If you don't have any errors, then you will get a proper output. So this is the complete flow how your program will get executed. You have to write the program, you have to compile the program. If you have any errors, again you have to edit the source code. If you don't have errors, your program is converted to object code, and that object code will be submitted to the system, and system will perform the operations. Okay. So this is the way how your program will get executed. So discuss about preprocessors. So this is not that much important. And next question whatever you have will be keywords. So already we have discussed what is a keyword. Keyword in the sense it is an important word. So all the words which are already reserved by the compiler and they can be used only for that specific purpose, and we can't use these keywords for any other purposes. So the word symbols in C are also referred as keywords or reserved words. So all the letters in these words are written in lowercase, and each word is considered to be a single word symbol. All the word symbols are predefined and they can't be used for other purposes. So here you have the list of 32 keywords and with the explanation. So you just go through with all these keywords and explanations which we have discussed. And these are the things what you have. And next after these keywords we have identifier. So what is an identifier? The name itself it describes, it is used to identify something. So identifiers refers to the names of, it can be a name of a variable, or it can be a name of a constant, or it can be a name of a function or any array. So whatever it might be, everything is possible here. All the letters can be used for identifiers. Identifiers are variable length. So here min, a, 2, 2, 3, 4, sum underscore, of underscore, marks, all these are the variable names, and these are also called as identifiers. So which are used to identify or identifiers. Okay. And here rules for constructing an identifier. So the first character of a name must be an alphabet, and keywords must not be used, and it shouldn't contain white spaces, and the name of the identifier must be in letters, digits, or in underscore only. The name of the identifier must be in letters, digits, or underscore only, and the first character must be an alphabet, and the first 31 characters are all only considered as identifiers. So maximum length is 31. So whatever the name we are giving to that identifier, that name will contain, it should contain maximum of 31 characters. So what is the meaning of a constant? Constant, the name itself describes a quantity or a number that doesn't vary, that doesn't change that during the execution of a program is known as constant. So direct values, for example here we will see A, B, C, D, E, F are the variables, and the values what you have are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are known as constant values, they are fixed values. And in C language we have different types of constants, primary constants and secondary constants. Under primary constants we have numeric and character, under numeric we have integer and real, and under character single character, string constants, and backslash. So these are the different types of constants what you have. Already we have discussed about these constant values. So what is integer, what is character, what is float, we have discussed. So you just go through with this. And next we have variable. So a variable is the name which is given to that location where the data value has stored. So unlike constant, the values of variable can be changed during the execution. That's why they are called variable. The values what you have stored in that locations can be varied, can be changed. So a variable can be classified into integer variable, real variable, character variable, depending on the type. So all the rules whatever you have here, they will be applicable. All the rules for identifier are applicable for this variable. Variable A must contain letters. It must begin with an alphabet. The number of characters must not exceed 31 characters. There are case sensitive. Capital sum is not equal to small sum. So keywords must not be used. Blank spaces, commas and special symbols are not used. So these are all some examples of variable names, valid variable names. Next go with variable declaration. How to declare a variable? For this you have a syntax. From this your syntaxes will start. So every C program, if you remember the syntaxes, then writing the program is damn easy. So you have to substitute the contents in the syntaxes. So the syntax for variable declaration is data type variable name equal to value. For example, I want to store a value 10. 10 is which type of value? Adi integer, character, float. 10 comes under which type? Answer me. 10 comes under which type? Integer, character, float or any other? 10 is a value which comes under which type of value? Chepandi.
Integer.
Yes, 10 comes under integer. So your data type should be int. Now I want to store that 10 in one place. I am naming that place as x. So the thing will be int x equal to 10. So here by this statement, what it is saying, 10 is a value which is stored in variable x and the type of that variable is integer. So the statement is explaining that int x equal to 10. So x is a variable that can store only integer values. Now you can ask me one doubt, sir, if I declare int x and if I given int x equal to 10.45 fraction values, then what will happen? Then it will take only that 10 and it will ignore that fraction part whatever you have written after that 10. 10.45 will be ignored and it will accept only 10. Okay. Got it? And then after, write short notes on scope of life of variables. Scope I will explain at the end of the program, end of the chapter. Next topic will be data types. So what are data types? Data types are used to tell about the type of a value which you are going to store in the program. So data type is used to indicate the type of data value stored in a variable. The data type of a variable is specified at the time of its declaration. So you have to inform the compiler which type of value you are going to store in the program. So there are two types of data types, integer and floating. So under all the numerical types are comes under integer and all the fraction values are comes under floating point. So this is the table which is explaining about different types of data types and how much size they will occupy is going to be defined here. Each type, size and the range. So this is the way how the data will be stored in the system. numerical type, character type and floating type. And the next topic will be explain about implicit and explicit type conversion. Type conversion in the sense converting from one type to another type is called as type conversion. So here we have two types of conversions, implicit conversion and explicit conversion. And then after we have formatted input output statements. Already we have discussed scanf statement and printf statements. So scanf is an input statement and printf will be an output statements. So if you want to read anything, we must know the control strings. So %c will refer, it is used to read a single character, %d for decimal, %f for float, %e is also for float, %g and h for short integer, %s for a string. So depends on the type, whatever you are going to read, we need to mention either it is %d or %c or %s or whatever. So whenever we are using this scanf statement, scanf, here you have to provide which type of value you are going to read through the program, and in the second place is the variable in which you want to store the result. Okay. So first one will be the format, this %f will be the format and x will be the variable in which you want to store. So you have declared an integer variable with the name x, and whatever the value you entered at the time of executing the program, that x must be stored into that float variable. So %f will represent float. So here % indicates the conversion specification, f specifies the data type of the value and %x indicates the address of the variable. So ఈ program చూడండి, in this I declared three variables int x, y and sum, float a, b and total. CLR SCR is not required, and first statement printf enter the values for x and y. So through scanf statement, whatever the values I will enter, first value will store in x, second value will store in y. So what is the formats of these two variables? Integer. So I declared 2 %ds. If it is float, then I will declare 2 %f. If it is character, then I will declare 2 %cs. So depends on the type of a value, you have to decide which one you have to use. If it is integer, %d, if it is float, %f, if it is character, %c. So these printf, %cs, %ds will come in scanf statement. So you got two integer values and two float values. Now you have to perform the operation sum equal to x plus y and total equal to a plus b, and then you are printing the result. So the sum of integer value is sum, the sum of floating values will be total. So it is integer, that's why I have written %d, it is float, that's why I have written %f. So depends on the format, you have to mention the type of the values. Okay. So for you, I will write this program and I will try to execute I will execute. Are you practicing the programs or not? It is new document. Now, so I want to add two integers and I want to add two floats. So that's why I am going with this. First line will be hash include stdio.h. Second line int main, open brace. So what are the variables I require? Int a comma b comma sum and float x comma y comma tot. This is first step, variable declaration. Second step, printf enter any two integer values. So immediately it is followed by scanf statement, and you tell me, so here which formats we have to take? Integer in the sense, what will indicate integer?
%d.
Percentile d. How many percentile d's are required?
2.
Yes, good. Percentile d, comma. First value where we have to store?
A.
A. Next value?
B.
B. Very good. Then now we have to read float values. Printf in double quotes enter any two float values. Then followed by scanf statement. What we have to take here? Percentile. For floats, percentile f. How many? 2. Comma. First value we have to store in which variable?
X, Y.
Yeah, x and y. Now this is second step. Third step, you have to calculate the sum. Sum equal to a plus b. We will calculate the sum of two integer values. Tot equal to x plus y. So it will calculate the sum of float values. This is performing operation is also done. Now you have to print the result. Printf the sum of integer values is percentile d. In which variable you have that result? Integer result?
Sum.
Yeah, good. Sum you have to print here. Next, printf the sum of float values is percentile f. In which variable you have that float result?
Total TOT.
TOT, right, good. Next, last we have return 0. So this is the program. Now go to file and you have to click on save. Sum.c, save, go to execute and compile. So I have said the steps for program execution. First of all, you have to write the program and then execute, compile and run. If you don't have any mistakes, your program will get executed. Now your program got executed. Now it is asking enter any two integer values. So I entered 25 space 55. Oh wait, 25 space 55. Enter. It is asking two float values. So I am going with 12.5 space 13.5. Enter. So now I got the sum of integer values is 80 and the sum of float values is 26. Is it okay now? Depends on the values what I enter, you will get the result. that is about this program. And various input formatting functions. So we discussed scanf is an input format function which is used to accept the input. So %d for integers, %s for string, %s for again for strings. Okay. Input is scanf function, output is printf function. Input formatting, again we have it is explaining about scanf function. Scanf %d, %t, %f. So first value will represent integer, second value will represent character, third value will represent float. Output statements will be printf statement, formatted output. So explain about output formatting, already we have discussed about this. We will have different formats. If you want to print different values at the same place, we can use different values, but the sequence must be followed. So first one is integer, so I have to specify integer variable. Second is string, you have to specify the string variable. Third is float, you have to specify the float variable. So these are the things what we have discussed till now. So this is a bit recap of all the classes what I have discussed till now, and tomorrow we will discuss about operators, and by this we are going to finish this unit 1. So operators is the last topic what you have in this unit 1. So once I complete this, your unit 1 will be completed. Okay. Once we complete these operators, I will explain some topics which are left in this unit 1. So like flowcharts, and what we have one more topic which is left, that is about flowcharts and algorithms. So there is only one topic which is left. So I will explain about that once we complete this operators. Okay na? So that's all for today. See you in the next class.